The second Amir Galanoui era has begun. But before we continue, just would like to wish everyone a happy Nowruz. I hope this upcoming year will bring you nothing but the best, as well as health and happiness. On today's episode, we will recap Iran's friendly with Russia and preview the upcoming friendly with Kenya. You know the deal, and you know what time it is. It's time for Team Melli Talk. How would things turn out for returning head coach Amir Galanoui? Hi everyone, welcome back to Team Melli Talk. We know what you want, so let's get right to Iran's starting lineup against Russia. But first, we had some interaction on our Instagram page about a hot topic. Let's check it out. The question was, who do you want to start at right back against Russia? Sadegh Moharrami or Ramin Rezaian? 38% said Sadegh Moharrami, 62% said Ramin Rezaian. And the fans would get what they wanted. Now for the starting lineup, who would get the start in goal? It appears that Alireza Berovand continues to be the #1 keeper for Iran. As for the backline, Ehsan Hajsafi, Shoja Khalilzadeh, Hossein Kanani, Ramin Rezaian. Now for the midfielders, Omid Nurafkan, Saeed Ezatolahi, Ali Golizadeh. Now for the forwards, Mohammad Mohebi, Mehdi Taremi, and Shahriyar Moganlu. How would Team Melli do against Russia? Let's check out the first half highlights.
با پای چپ هایصفی ارسال بلند روی دروازه روی تیر دوم و ضربه سری که اونجا ضربه محکمی رو به زیر توپ میزنه توپ میاد در زمین تیم ملی روسیه واسه مهدی طارمی پاس عالی برای مقالو این بار دیگه ارتباطش رو قطع کرد دوباره فرصت داره تیم ملی ما مثلا یه پای چپ رو آورده یه ارسال روی دروازه ضربه سر خطرناک بازیکن روسیه و یا کنانی ضربهش رو میزنه به سمت چارچوب و خوبم برگردون یک در مقابل 3 هستن چه پرتابی و چه پاسی دادن به ایران طارمی داخل محوطه جریمه بیرون برای شهریار مقالو و ضربه پای چپ مقالو رو آسمون فرستاد فقط بهش داده میشه یک بار دیگه همچون زینکوفسکی از صد بازیکن ما رد شد و خطا رو انجام داد برخوردی به صورت گرفت که عرض کردم ریزنقش تکنیکی است و کوچکترین برخوردی انقدر باهوش هم هست مهدی طارمی ما که بتونه پنالتی بگیره از دار سوت داوم یانچوک حرکت میکنه دوش رو میزنه و راحت هم میزنه تو تبدیل به گل کرد تا طرفداری حاضر تو صحنه است گل رو با هم میبینیم که بچه آنتون یانچوک با یه بغل راست با فرستاد واسه چپ یک بار صفر بشه کنترل توپ از احسان هایصفی احسان نرمی دروازه مزربه سر طارمی رو ماتوی استفانوف در اختیار گرفت هایصفی ضربه‌شو با پای چپ میزنه احسان هایصفی زینکوفسکی اشتباه کردن به دوستان روسیه یه موقعیت داخل زمین روسیه فرصت هست برای گل مساوی عملکرد خوبش در ترکیب استقلال او رو فیکس تیم ملی هم کرده یه بار دیگه ضربه به سمت چارچوب
Down 1-0 at the half. Let's just say some Iranian football fans were not happy with that penalty call. But now it's time for the second half highlights.
حرکت میکنه مهدی طارمی و خیلی راحت دروازه رو باز میکنه مهدی طارمی و بازی 1-1 مساوی میشه بازیکن 24 ساله تیم ملی روسیه اشتباه که علی قلیزاده خیلی هم بازیکن تکنیکی زمین بغل پای فنی سعیده یه حرکت پاس عالی بین مدافعان ما دروازه میتونه اونجا تخطی بشه و باز بشه اشتباه بازیکن روسیه پاس خوب برای طارمی داخل محوطه جریمه با ضربه محکم و زاویه بسته‌شو میزنه مهدی طارمی نورافکن یه کنترل ضربه محکم پای چپ امید نورافکن که با اختلاف به بیرون رفت محمد محبی حرکت میکنه خود محبی تو نگه داشته طارمی تو میخواد ضربه محبی زده میشه با خطرناک از کنانی زادگان ثابت توپ شد یه ارسال بلند دروازه پاس عالی طارمی میتونه به گل دوم برسونه ما رو 25 برای زکی پور یرسال بلند و کاتا روی دروازه وحید امیری رو به عقب فرستاد. طارمی میجنگه با توپ خودش میگیره. یه بار دیگه واسه همین موقعیت و تمام داور سود زد. بازی تموم شد.
Now for this segment of the show, I am joined by my good friend Farzad Asgharzadeh. Farzad, welcome to Team Melli Talk. It's great to have you here. And I also want to say, Eid Shoma Mubarak.
Thanks very much, Art. Good to be here with you. My congratulations and Eid Shoma Mubarak to all Iranians in Iran and across the world, football fans. It's been a year in 1401, a Persian calendar, and I'm hoping that 1402 will be a great year for all Iranians in the world.
Iran and Russia just played to a 1-1 draw at the Azadi Stadium in Tehran. Now, this is the beginning of the second Amir Galinoui era. Just want to be quick to say that I really didn't want this second era to come back in the first place, but I don't want to keep repeating myself, and that just gets old. But let's just, my first basic question for you. What were your thoughts on this match?
The match, I saw some level of continuity, which to certain extent was the bright side of it. We saw a combination of Wilmot's lineup, Skocic's lineup, and there was Galinoui's touches in this lineup as well. So the Wilmot's lineup is Mohebbi. He was one of his favorite, and Skocic, his main central defenders were Shoja and Kanani, Zadegan, and then of course, Nur Afkan having a role in the lineup as well. What we saw was, or in my opinion, he basically had threw the best 11 out there. Of those who were available. I know Sardar Azmoun didn't make it to this camp because of some personal issues. And also today, before the game, I heard that Jahanbakhsh Torabi were also had some minor injury or had a cold or something that could not make the lineup. So he put a solid 11 on the field. I think in general, the team played well. It is very difficult to assess the Russian team, how good they were. I'm sure Russia has many other players who did not make it to this team. But in general, I think it was a good test for Team Melli. And did I see anything from Galinoui? I will tell you what I saw, but I think what we saw today was, hey guys, go out there, play the way you have been playing and all that as a team. Most of these players knew each other except Moghanlou and Mohebbi. So they just played their game, and overall they did well. There were mistakes that we shouldn't be making, like the penalty kick we gave to Russian team. But in general, I think it went well, and I think what Galinoui was trying to do was, and I saw that through letting the team play, the starters play up until I think minute 60s or 70, something like that. So that just shows that he basically wanted to see, how the 11 do together and all of that. It wasn't one of those friendly games where you do a wholesale change at halftime or anything like that. So I think he wanted to see, for example, Izzatullahi and Nur Afkan combination. We also saw with Nur Afkan and Haisafi both playing in the game. We saw, and their role is the same. They can play, lefty or defensive midfielder. And I saw moments that they actually switched where, Haisafi came to midfield, Nur Afkan went to the left side and all of that. What I also saw was, how precious is Taremi and Sardar combo, which we didn't see in this game. I think the way Sardar and Taremi play with one another, they read each other well, and we saw some disconnect there between Taremi, and the rest of the so-called forwards. I believe we played 4-2-3-1 with Moghanlou on top, but I wanted to see more connection between the front four, and there were some disconnects there. But in general, I think for the first time, Moghanlou, Mohebi, and Taremi playing together. In general, I think I give them a passing grade, but there is a lot of room for improvement. I don't want to get too technical, but there were moments where my expectation was Ali Gholizadeh to be less selfish. I think selfish is not the term. He mostly has his head down, and there were opportunities where he could pass the ball much quicker immediately, and then he took some extra touches that was not necessary, and we lost the ball inside 18 where we had the opportunities to score.
But, one thing I really got to say that I'm not too big of a fan of is that, like you said, I know he put out the best players. The one thing I just want to see moving forward is that there's got to be more of a focus on calling up younger players and also putting some of the younger players in the lineup as well. Like, see, I agree with you. I didn't want to see a complete, like a completely different lineup where we're like, whoa, what is this? I didn't want to see. I agree with you on that, but I just feel like it's a good idea to put in some of these younger players, give them a shot. Keep some of the veteran players in there too, because when I look at this game, Vahid Amiri was subbed on. I mean, he's 34 years old, and we're getting to these points where we have to start. So we have no choice but to say that there has to be younger players being called up. Younger players got to get on the pitch. I mean, I even heard there was a report saying that some of the younger players who were called up didn't really partake in the training sessions. They were just told to observe and, take everything in. And when I hear that, that just makes me immediately shake my head, because these guys, what is it they need to watch? They're they're professional footballers. They got to get out there and play.
Yeah. The first thing we need to understand is to see what the agenda is. What is it that we want to accomplish? Do we want to have a strong team in the Asian Cup to win the cup? We haven't won that cup for over 40 some years. It's going to be maybe 50 years before you know it. So is Asian Cup and winning that cup is important. You ask me if I was the coach as an Iranian, absolutely. Asian Cup to me is next to World Cup. And if we have an opportunity to win the cup, we should do that. So I think there is an agenda out there that to have a solid team of combined veteran players, experienced players, and then some new players. But I think the agenda definitely is to win the Asian Cup. I think we will see a different team against Kenya. We will see some changes in that game. And as you said, that's the game where you want to see the newcomers and get tested and see if they have the potential to be along with the big boys and play the game, with the experienced European-based players. So I wouldn't revolutionary just change the players and cross off our veterans of the team, but I do want to keep a balance of the experienced players, especially our European-based players, together with the newcomers. And this is not about Ghalenoui. This is about our national team. This is about the success of our national team. This is not about the success of Ghalenoui. Whether we like Ghalenoui or not, whether we like domestic coach or a foreign coach, what we have to accept is he's in charge, and he's going to need our support as a fan. Doesn't matter who the coach is. He has his own way of doing things. He has his starting 11 that is going to be different from yours, mine, Karish's, and Asgharzadeh's. So what happens or how he's processing in his mind is his own thing. You and I can come and say, if I would put the 11 started, I would have done this, that. We can say that, but we're not in the coach's mind, and he has his own logic and reasons to start his 11.
Next, I want to talk about the 3 players that made their debut for Iran.
Shahriar Morganlu, Reza Asadi, and also Milad Zakipur. I mean, all 3 of them are in their late 20s. In your opinion, is this something that you look at where you say, do these guys really need to make a debut this much later in their careers, or are you a big fan of this?
The player I was most impressed with among the 3 was Zakipur. Asadi, if you recall, he has been playing for Tractor, and I think for 1 season he was transferred to Persepolis, and he didn't deliver in Persepolis. But then he's back in Tractor and doing well, scoring. I think he's the highest scorer in Tractor Sazi right now. Not one of my favorite players. I really don't know where I would play him. I mean, I think in Tractor Sazi he plays up front. But then I saw him playing, midfield, defensive midfield in Persepolis. Not my favorite player, but doing well for his club, no question about it. I think we have to always differentiate between club level, playing at club level versus national team, international level, and all of that. Morganlu has the experience of playing abroad in Portugal, so you see some of that in him, especially in terms of strength and stamina and all of that. But what I didn't see was him clicking with Taremi in this game. I still find Taremi Sardar combination as deadly as we can be in a game. So it's unfair for me to say, okay, Morganlu has to be crossed off or anything, but definitely he has I would say he has a spot in the final 23 list, 26 list, no question about that.
I actually wanted to ask you about something you've been doing for quite a few years now. There's a lot of different media outlets, web pages that cover Team Melli and also Iranian football. But your page, the Iranian football page, this has been up since 1996. So, you can tell us a story.
Yeah, the Iranian football page actually was established in 1996 by actually some fans of Iranian national team. I was not the original organizer or establisher of the page. There were many people involved, but we've been active on that page since 1996. Me also together with a couple other friends that you have met, we also administer the page. From being a fan of football, I can tell you it goes back to the 70s, where most of the people who are engaged on that page with respect to Iranian football, they know the Iranian national team of the 70s, the Persepolis, Taj teams of the 70s, and all of that. And when I talk about 70s, I'm talking about the 1970s, not 1370s. So we've been involved. Sometimes we call ourselves a bunch of old junkies who are basically been talking Iranian football ever since, I think, like maybe internet came to fruition. Since then we have been on it. So the knowledge base is very strong on that page. And again, it's been, how many years is it? It's been almost like 24, 25 years of football discussion. And it has its own history. It's gone through changes. Some people left, some people joined later, and all of that. But again, it's a page. It's an iconic page of football discussion, and everybody is free to join. You don't need to register or anything like that. just drop by, post what you think about national team, or if you have any questions about football in general, we're there to communicate and interact.
Well, all right. Well, I'm actually taking a look at it right now. And to all our viewers, if you're interested, make sure you go and check it out. ifp.signourguestbook.com. I'll provide links down below as well. And there's also plenty of links to other Iranian football pages. And I appreciate you for sharing the link to the Team Melli Talk YouTube page. Really do appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And Farzad, I just want to thank you for taking the time to join me on Team Melli Talk. It really was a pleasure to have you on the show.
Same here. Come and visit our page, drop a note, and we'll be happy to discuss football there with you.
Kenya and Iran have met on 2 previous occasions. Iran won both friendly matches, one in 1997 and one in 2009. Kenya has been away from competitive international football for a while due to sanctions from FIFA. But aside from that, here are the 3 players to watch. Eric Otieno of AIK in Sweden, Richard Odada of the Philadelphia Union in the MLS, and Michael Olunga of Al Duhail in Qatar. Michael Olunga has made plenty of appearances for Al Duhail in Qatar, and of course he's obviously very familiar with Shoja Khalizadeh and Hossein Kanani. And speaking of someone who is familiar with Iranian football, that person definitely is head coach Engin Firat. He was once an assistant coach for Team Melli, and he has also had coaching stints with Saipa, Sepahan, and Gösterich Fulad. As for the keys to victory, it is very simple. Number 1, practice finishing. Number 2, put more shots on target. Yes, I really don't have much more to add. Iran should have easily defeated Russia, but this is what happens when you don't capitalize on your opportunities. And we also have to wonder if Amir Galanoui will tinker with the formation or come out with a very different starting lineup. The match between Iran and Kenya will take place on March 28th at the Azadi Stadium in Tehran. Now, what about you? What are your keys to victory for Iran in the friendly match against Kenya? Leave a comment down below. Always look forward to getting your input. Now, to finish off this edition of Team Melli Talk, I just want to say that the 1-1 draw with Russia was not a bad result. It was a friendly match, just got to move on. And if there are a couple more things for me to add, I just want to say that I think Amir Galanoui could be more successful this time around for Team Melli if he puts the best players on the pitch while also focusing on developing more younger footballers for the future. As for the match against Kenya, I'm hoping that Amir Galanoui will give playing time to the untested midfielders he has called up, such as Mohamed Karimi or Reza Shekari. And of course, I also think it's time for Amin Hasbavi and Mohamed Hossein Eslami to step on the pitch.